Uh-oh. After I uploaded the video for modifying this adapter to try and make it run an 18 volt battery onto a 40 volt tool, I have discovered a problem. This impact driver, she doesn't work anymore. Now, I'm hoping when you give it a sniff, there's a slight burny whiff in here. When I pulled the adapter right apart, I was fiddling around with this board and I had it clipped on the 18 volt battery. I can't remember now if it's in the other video or not, me doing that. Might be at the end. I had hooked this on here first. I slid the battery on and there was a spark and a bit of a smell. And I thought I had fried either this or had damaged the battery. But unfortunately, it turns out I damaged the most important and expensive bit. So I now have a 40 volt XGT Makita impact driver that doesn't work. Haven't even been released in most parts of the world and mine's stuffed already. So I'm going to pull it apart and I'm hoping it's that fuse. If you've seen the video about this tool or you've seen the one about that one versus this one on the insides, you'll know that these both have an automotive fuse inside. I'm hoping that has blown in here. Fingers crossed. At least I'm getting pretty proficient at pulling impact drivers apart. I do it quite a lot nowadays, it seems. Right. This is the fuse in here. And here's hoping. Fingers crossed. It looks like it has blown. Yay! Well, it's rather tight to get off. Are those connectors, or have they stuck that on there permanently? Now this fuse is connected straight from the positive terminal coming from the battery, goes through that fuse before it can get into the main board to stop you frying this board. It's a good idea, but at the moment I can't even get it off. So as good as the fuse idea seemed, it's a bit of a bastard because instead of just having stake-ons, they have soldered the fuse directly in. So, you know, it's not the end of the world, but would have been nice to just pop in a new one into the stakes, but we're going to have to desolder that and resolder one on. Or I might put some stake-ons if I can find some kicking around, so that if we have this problem again, we can just easily pop the fuse in and out. Because if it's done it that quick, that early on in its life, it may be a regular feature. I hope it's not. Not sure if you can see it well enough there. The fuse is broken in the middle. Anyway, I've got to go and get some fuses now, so I'll whip up to the automotive store, grab some of those, and we'll put this back together. But I don't know if I'll do that today, but I want to get this video up just as a warning. So if your tool does stop working, as I've said in several other videos about these impact drivers, make sure you check this fuse first. That might be all it is, a 50-cent bloody fuse. But also, warning, don't try and run this on an 18 volt battery. Doesn't seem to be all that good for it. So I sent a shot of what I wanted to the wife and she grabbed some of these fuses on the way home, which was handy. And I cut off the old one. I have soldered on a new one, put some heat shrink on, and now the moment of truth. Where's the tripod? Have I fixed it or have I fucked it? Woohoo! Back in business. Thank Christ for that. Didn't want to bugger a tool worth that sort of money that early on in the game. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, don't put an 18 volt battery on a 36 volt tool. I wouldn't have thought it would have done bugger all. But turns out it doesn't like it that much. Now something else I could try to get an 18 volt battery to work on a 40 volt max tool is to change the configuration of the cells in here. An 18 volt battery needs 5 cells in a row in series. That adds up to 18 volts. They're 3.6 volts each. But this battery has 10 cells in it. So how does that work? You have one row of 5 and another row of 5. So these 5 are in series, these 5 are in series. You then parallel them up and you get a 6 amp hour 18 volt. Take half of them away, you'd get a 3 amp hour. Add another 5, you would get a 9 amp hour, etc, etc. So what we could do, instead of these being in parallel in here, we could make it all in series, so that this became a 3 amp hour 36 volt battery, which would in theory run this tool and all the other 40 volt max tools, which are of course 36 volt. There's a couple of problems with that though. Would this tool recognize it? I mean, I'd do it through this adapter of course, so we might get away with it, but would I ever be able to charge this battery again? Because it's probably not going to charge on the 18 volt charger, because it's going to read this battery through this yellow bit here, and it's going to say, hey, something's not right with this battery, things are all up the bung. So it probably wouldn't work anyway. I'd only get the one charge out of it, and I'd have to charge it a different way. I'd have to charge it without a battery charger, just hooking it up to a power supply type system. So I don't think I want to waste one of my batteries trying that. But if you got it all right, you could in theory do it. But you know, it's just a academic thing really, because it'll be a lot easier to just go and buy the damn batteries. See you on another one sometime.